Hello and welcome back for yet another amazing art project. Cannot wait to get this one started with you. I think you guys are going to have a blast. So first, let's learn about what is this project? What are we going to be making next in our art class together? So let's learn about this project. We are going to be creating candy shoes. Like, what's better, right? Candy, amazing. Shoes, amazing. Put them together, I can't even comprehend the level of amazingness that is going to happen during this project. It's gonna be so good. Okay, so we're doing our shoe project, like I mentioned, and so to get us our brain kind of started, we're gonna start thinking about branding. So what is branding exactly? What's the purpose of it? So branding, we want to make sure everybody knows about our product, right? Because if they don't know about our product, they cannot buy our product. And that's usually the point of business, is to get people to buy our product so we can make some money, right? So we want to make sure when we're getting our product out there, people are seeing it, we want to create a positive perception of our company, of our product, so that they want to buy and they want to keep on buying it more and more and more, right? And so we want to create that positive messaging through our design, our colors, our marketing, our advertising. All of those sort of things go into play when it comes to branding our product. So you can see some different brands. Here we've got Coca-Cola, right? They've got a lot of positive messaging out there as far as you should drink Coca-Cola. It's going to make you happy, right? Around the holidays, we can see the polar bears drinking Coca-Cola and they're having a grand old time on their iceberg or wherever they're at, right? So always we see this positive image behind the marketing and the branding. And we see, different products like here that we like, just with all kinds of their labels on it to help, if we see other people wearing it, that also gives us that positive perception in our mind as well. Here we see that for M&Ms, right? So you can see, this one even has mugs, a race car. Obviously shoes is kind of they should all have shoes because everyone loves shoes. Hats, cell phone covers, backpacks, all that kind of stuff. Nintendo as well. Look at all these cool products for Nintendo. So this is a video that if you can click on where it talks about our what I'm showing you, the slideshow, you guys can go ahead and watch this on your own. Because this is another YouTube video, I'm unable to play it in our demo and then upload it to YouTube. But you guys can watch this. It's 5 minutes long, and it just kind of talks more about branding and how, kind of the science behind how do we create products that people are going to love and that continue to improve over time, so people, trust our brand and want to continue purchasing things from it. So feel free to come on in here and watch that 5-minute video.
At times, the scale is overwhelming.
Go to the next slide. And then in your supplies, you should have gotten a whole bunch of different shoe templates. So these are templates. These are just to kind of get our ideas going, throughout the next day or two for what we might want our shoe to look like. So feel free to go through and kind of look at all of those shoe designs and start thinking about what kind of shoe you might want to use. Are you thinking more like a Croc? Are you thinking more like a tennis shoe or a sports shoe? Or what are you thinking you want your shoe to look like? And feel free also, I've got examples, but feel free to search Google and to look through your own shoe collection to get inspired as well. So just kind of starting that brainstorming process. Start thinking about candy. There's a whole bunch of yummy stuff on this page. If you're not salivating, I don't know what's wrong with you, because looking at this just hits you right here. It's hitting me. So feel free to look through Google Images, or hey, maybe this is a really great chance to talk to your at-home mentor and say, we gotta go grocery shopping. We gotta go in that candy aisle. I gotta get inspired for art class. We're gonna need to get some of these wrappers. I'm gonna need also try out some of these candies and see which one feels the most inspiring. So that's optional. You could do that too. But either way, we want to start thinking about like what candy we want our shoe to have on it. And then here's some examples of some different finished products. So what I want you to notice is, first off, what we're doing today, the background, is going to be, it's going to end up looking kind of like bricks in the background. Now, depending on the color of paint that you've got, you can use that, or if you have different colors of paint at home, you can use that as well. But yeah, just some different examples here and a whole bunch more examples there. So feel free to peruse and check out the different examples as well, and kind of get our brains just going as far as like what might we want ours to look like. Of course, we're going to take this step by step, layer by layer, but for today, we want to get our background completed. So we want to be getting, let me go back to our original slide. We want to sponge paint that brick onto our background. And we want to start planning out maybe what kind of, like just thinking about, I shouldn't say planning, just kind of thinking about what kind of shoe we might want and what kind of candy we might want. Tomorrow then we're going to actually start to draw our rough drafts of what this could look like together, the candy plus the shoe, and we'll draw a few different rough drafts just on some scrap paper. But today we just want to start thinking about it so it's not a shock tomorrow, like, oh my goodness, I have to decide what kind of shoe and what kind of candy. Start thinking about it today. We'll start actually planning and brainstorming a little bit more tomorrow, where we're putting those rough draft pictures onto paper. But for today, we want to get our background done. So you should have gotten a sponge in the mail with your art supplies. Now, I don't know 100% for sure certain whether yours was the whole sponge kind of together like this, or if yours was cut in half already. So depending on what you got, if yours was all together one big one, so this is like a little bit bigger than the middle or the palm of my hand, if yours is that big, you're gonna probably want to cut it in half like I did here. If you can tell, like, oh no, mine is quite a bit smaller than the palm of my hand, yours was already cut in half, so then you don't need to do this step. Another way you can probably tell is if yours looks like this, it was cut in half. Do you see how two of the corners are rounded and two are not? Whereas if they're all rounded, like this, pretend that's not cut down the middle. If they're all rounded, then it probably was not cut in half. So let's go to a different view here. So this one I did cut in half, but you can see I only rounded one of the corners so far, or at least I started to. I'm just going to round the other corner as well, just so that all those edges look the same when we stamp them. That's a little bit different, but that's okay. Bricks are not perfectly all the same throughout, so, oh, you can see the little piece I got in there. It's starting to expand. This is maybe my favorite part. Oh, also I should mention, we are going to be painting today, and throughout the week we'll be kind of getting a little messy. You'll notice I've got my art station set up for that. So I put down, this is just a paper bag that I put some parchment paper on. It's taped on there. This is what I use to put on for when I'm painting, so I don't get my desk area dirty. I've got my water out, I've got my paint ready, so I'm kind of ready to go here. Oh, and of course my paper. We want one of our pieces of sketch paper, so you should have hopefully found in your art kit your sketch paper, put an S on it. So this is my sketch paper here. It's kind of a nice thicker one. So this is going to be the background. This is like part of the final copy. So if you want to get some scrap paper, just like any old paper you've got laying around the house, maybe some, you know, notebook paper or computer paper, feel free to also grab that and do some practicing on if you want to. If you're a little nervous about just starting off on your good piece of paper right away, day one. Anyway, first thing I need to do, this is a sponge, and you're probably like, what? How's that a sponge? But check this out. This is my favorite part. Put it in here. Let that get a little bit wet. And are you able to see this on the camera? It is starting to, you can see it, you can probably tell it's getting a little bit bigger. You can start seeing some of that, the texture in it too. So it's starting to grow like a sponge. Anyway, while that's continuing, ooh, look at it now. Ooh, it's just like sucking in all that water and growing. It's so cool. I love watching that. It doesn't matter if you are 3 or 30. It's always fun. Okay, so I'm just choosing black for my background. So I'm going to squirt that just onto my piece of parchment paper here, or whatever you are using to put your paint onto. I do not suggest putting it just onto your table. Don't do that. Okay, that's going to get you in trouble. We don't want to get in trouble in art. Just get a little bit more there. So just choose whatever, whatever color you have, or if you've got other colors at home and you want to use those instead, that's okay too. You can see my sponge has grown. Look at it. Oh, it grew so fast. Just like you kids. You grow so fast. Alright, and squeeze a lot of the water out there. I'll scoot that off and away. Now this isn't going to fit perfectly on the screen, but we'll do our best here with the space we have. So I'm going to get my sponge and just dab it around in the black paint or whatever color you're using. I want to make sure I get it all over the whole thing. So I want to get all the way to those edges. Ah! Just dropped it. Okay. Something like that. Make sure you got a good enough amount, but I don't want to overly saturate it either, because I want to be able to see the texture of the sponge too. So now I'm just going to firmly, notice I'm not like squeezing it down. I don't want all the water getting on there, but I'm just kind of firmly tapping it down. There's one brick. And you should be able to get a couple bricks out of each time you dab it. As soon as you see like, it's not really putting down a ton of paint, then you can go ahead and reload it. I mean, that looks still okay, but just reload it. And we're going to do this across our entire piece of paper, and that's what we want to have completed for next time. We'll let that dry, of course, somewhere safe. Wash out your sponge afterward. You might want to use that for another project some other time. And what else? And just start thinking about what kind of shoe design and what kind of candy you might want to use. Tomorrow we'll do some more of that brainstorming and start drawing some drafts. See you then!